Do you want me to call you Roxy or Roxanne?
Doesn't matter.
I like
Roxy's fine.
Roxy. Okay, good. Well, Roxy, welcome to Beyond the Birth Story podcast. I am so excited to have you in my space today.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here. A little nervous, but excited.
Nervous is fine. I remember when I did my first podcast on someone else's, I'm like, I get it now. So before I'm like, oh, just show up. I'm like, no, it's a lot. Okay, I will have you introduce you to all of our listeners. Tell us all about who you are.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm Roxanne or Roxy, not Roxy's Nutrition on Instagram, and a plethora of other nicknames depending who's
Yes.
watching. And I'm a mom. I'm a certified nutritional practitioner. I'm also a middle school, high school teacher. I'm currently on maternity leave with my daughter Mila, and I do have a almost 3-year-old son going on 95. He
Hmm.
loves cattle.
So yeah, have to take after dad.
Yes, he is an old soul. Yeah, I've been
Hmm.
married to my husband since 2018. We've been together 10 years this
Hmm.
year. So, eternity. Just joking. Yeah, I just love all things holistic, plants, and food.
I love that.
That's really, really what it is. I mean, if I could just like sit outside in greenery all day long with my
Mm,
family, I would. Just brings me peace, but
yeah,
I think that's probably the best way to describe me.
I love it. Exactly who you are, right? Um, you had mentioned at one point we were talking that you've been following me since your own losses. Do you want to
Yes.
tell us a little bit, whatever you're comfortable sharing, a little bit about your journey?
Okay, so my husband and I, like I said, got married
Hmm.
in 2018, and we just decided like, yeah, we want to have kids and whatever. And I knew that coming off birth control, it can like
Yeah.
take a while and everything. And I had been on birth control 13, I don't even know. It's
Wow.
I was prescribed it with Accutane when I was, I believe, 13,
Oh my
14 years old.
gosh.
Yeah, but it was, um, and they just put you on, like, if anyone knows, any 80s, 90s babies out there, with that Diam 35 is supposed to help with
Hmm.
acne. And I was having really bad, like, cystic acne. So they put me on that. And then it was the year after I was originally put on it, they actually, like, passed a law or whatever it was, made a bill
Hmm.
that you could not prescribe Accutane without birth control. So I was already on it. And then I was actually on Accutane for 3 years. So I had had some previous surgeries
Hmm.
with pre-cancer cells and whatnot on my cervix. So I knew that it was going to likely take a while. They had warned me. And after 2 years of, well, just under 2 years of infertility, COVID hit.
Oh my gosh.
And then COVID hit, and everyone else was, upset and isolated, and I was thriving.
Hmm.
My anxiety had just dropped. I didn't have the social anxiety every single day, and I'm such a homebody
I
that
feel
I
that.
was just like, yes, I miss people, but like I could call them, it's fine,
Right?
or
Like that's
video.
what FaceTime's for.
Yeah, and I was just, I don't know, I just was so comfortable in my element. And 2 months after COVID hit, we were expecting.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I just remember like it was so non exciting and like not a movie moment. I like text my husband a picture of the pregnancy test, and I was like, what? And he like runs upstairs. He was like, I was like, I know. Like, I think this is a thing. And he was like, oh my God. And so, yeah, I was so excited. And we were, as a teacher, we were doing like online teaching
Mhm.
and Zoom conferencing with our staff and everything. And I was just trying not to throw up while I had to be on
Oh,
Zoom
girl.
and,
Yep.
eating food and whatnot. And then in July, I think it was July, check my notes, 27th,
Yes.
2020. I was 9.5 weeks pregnant, and we lost that one. And I just remember, I always describe it to people as everyone you love and know is completely surrounding you, but you've never felt more alone.
Hmm.
There is just,
It's the
there's
perfect way
nothing.
to describe it.
I
Yeah.
just didn't know, like, there is nothing anyone can do or say to take the hurt away, but you appreciate them at the same time. And
Mhm.
yeah, it was just gutting. And I specifically remember saying to my husband, we were laying on the couch waiting for the next morning, because the next morning was supposed to be like a surgery and an ultrasound. Like they just tell you like, yeah, there's no heartbeat. And then what?
Mhm.
And then you have to wait for your doctor to tell you what that means. And you get no other information. You're just sent home and you have to wait. And we just laid on the couch. I don't think we fell asleep till like 3 or 4 in the morning, and
Mhm.
fell asleep on the couch. And I just remember saying, I don't know how people do this more than once.
Mhm.
And I just said, like, this is awful. I never want to do this ever again. And we went through it 5 times. And
Oh.
it was just, yeah, there is anyone who's been through it, like, there are no words to describe it other than just empty and
Mhm.
literally empty and
Mhm.
alone. And, but we decided, like, you know what, we're just gonna like let things happen. We're not gonna plan. We're not gonna try and time things. We're not
Mhm.
gonna put pressure on it. And then we were expecting again, and like within 2 months kind of thing.
Mhm.
And we were excited, but anyone who knows or
It's
who has
tainted.
experienced the
Mhm.
loss, that excitement is tainted. You're like,
Yeah.
yay, oh my God.
Mhm.
And you're just terrified. And it's different, right? The first time you're like, oh my God, I'm so sick. And then after that, you're like, well, I'm still sick.
I
Like, still,
know.
yeah, you're like, oh, and then they like give you like diclectin and everything
Yeah.
to like take the nausea away. And then you're like, oh, I'm feeling really good. I'm gonna go. And then you go
I
off the
know.
diclectin and you're like, oh good, I'm still nauseous. I can go back on the
I
diclectin.
used to
Like,
just keep peeing on the sticks, and then I'd make sure they were getting darker. I'm like, I'm crazy. Pregnancy after loss.
yes, it's you
Mm.
just oh, it's obsessive. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely not great for your mental health, that's for sure. But
Not at
yeah, and then that one ended up being ectopic. So I didn't know right away that I was pregnant, but because I'm quite in tune with my body,
Yeah.
I could just things there was pain and things felt different, and yeah, that one no go. So then another surgery. At this point, this was my third surgery, including my previous cervical surgery.
Yeah.
And then we were expecting again, um, and in like December kind of thing. So that one was October. This one was December, and January gone. That was 2021. That one ended up being chemical. So they met, all the hormones were created, but nothing implanted, and there was nothing there. And then we were expecting again right away, and May 2021 at 12 weeks. I lost that one as well. And that one, that one was the one that broke me.
Mhm.
We were kind of like starting to go back to work a little bit, things here and there. And I went in, I had the DNC, and then my husband had to go and help with his family on the farm. And at this point, we just had like extreme separation anxiety. It was like every single time he left, something happened. And
Mm.
so he was like, I just have to run to the farm. I just have to check the cattle and I'll be right back. And I was like, yeah, it's fine. Like, I'm like a week past the surgery, but I wasn't feeling better. In previous DNC surgeries, 2-3 days, and you're like, okay, like I'm moving around and you're doing the things, and there's
Mhm.
still aches and pains there and like the bloating and whatnot, but this was different. They had put me on some antibiotics. They thought that maybe just with all the history that it would had just taken a toll at this point, maybe a little bit of infection or something. So he left, and then I woke up at 11 o'clock at night, and I text my sister. She works in the medical field, and I just said like, something's wrong. Like I'm in a lot of pain. I
Mhm.
feel nauseous. I'm gonna throw up. And she was like, okay, like if you need me to meet you at the hospital or something, let me know. And I was like, okay. And so I was getting up to be like, prepared to kind of get ready to go in. I knew something was really, really wrong. And I went to the washroom, and I ended up passing my own fetus and the placenta. And I
Oh.
just remember sitting there being like, I had a surgery for this. Like, this was supposed to be like, what is this? But it was very evident what it was. And so I called my sister, and I think I just was numb, and I just said like, I'm going to send you a picture right now of what I'm staring at. So I sent it to her, and she's like, I can come over if you need. But if
Mhm.
you can, like, you need to maybe collect that, and I will meet you at the hospital, or I can come get you. And I was like, no, I can do this. And met her at the hospital. And I just remember the doctor being like, well, are you sure? And I was like,
Mhm. I've
yes,
never
yes,
been
I'm
more
sure.
sure.
Yes, I'm sure. Like, what did it look like? And I just remember taking the container out of my bag and being like, will you tell me?
Oh.
And he like looked up at it and he was like, yeah, okay. And this one, so they suggested to do another DNC, and I'm so thankful for like the advancement of technology.
Mhm.
I have a medical app with my OBGYN. And so I had messaged her, not expecting her to answer me at like midnight, being
Mhm.
like, this is what's going on. I had sent her the picture and I said, like, I'm going to the hospital right now. And because I had had the infection, she actually ended up answering me and being like, do not get a surgery right away. There needs to be like 24 hours of this infection to go down and everything. We do not want scraping of your uterus. Like, there
Mhm.
could be scar tissue and whatnot. Like, this can make issues for you trying to have a baby in the future. And so I was very, very adamant about that in the hospital. And the doctor who was treating me was not happy. By the end of it, he ended up like yelling at me, telling me that like I needed to do this. He had booked the surgery, and I remember like I cry when I'm angry, crying and being like, I'm not doing this. All the while, my husband is at the farm and has no idea because he has no service.
Oh my God.
I'm like, what is happening? Like, let's talk about separation anxiety going from like 50% to 100% in a matter of hours. And
Oh
so I just
my
thought, you know
God.
what? I am not going to message him until he's probably sleeping. You know, it's calving season, for goodness sakes. He's spending one night out there, and if this is the night it happens, I'm going to text him when I like know what's happening. And so yeah, I was really thankful for the nursing team,
Mhm.
and the one nurse was amazing. And she said, after I had told the doctor, like, no, you've booked this surgery twice. I'm not doing it. We have not hit the 24 hours. I also don't want metal tools, and I would like someone else to potentially do the surgery at this
Yeah,
point. I
after
said, I
treating
don't
you
think we're
like
seeing eye
that.
to eye. And he was furious, and the nurse had come in and she was kind of tending to my IV and everything, and she said like, good for you. Like, I'm just letting you know that I am on shift and I am here and I will be in that room and I will make sure that you are okay. And I just remember being like, yes, okay. Like,
Mm.
she's there. And
Mm.
this was my third miscarriage that she had been a part of. And she let me know after. She's like, I am so sorry. Like, I have been there for so many of your surgeries. Of course, I'm unconscious, so I don't know. But
Oh my
yeah, and I just felt
gosh.
like this is the person who is going to make sure that everything's going to be okay.
That just gave me
And so,
full
yeah,
body chills.
I know. And I just, she was amazing. And she was like,
Yeah.
good for you. Like, this is
Yeah.
about your future. And then she said my favorite Friends line ever. She was like, no uterus, no opinion. Like, he doesn't know. I was like, yeah, that's right.
And like the fact that you had an OBG, like was he an OBGYN?
Yeah.
Oh, but
Yeah.
anyways, I'll
Yeah.
get
And so I
fired
was
up if
like,
I
hold
talk
up.
about
The
it.
doctor who specializes in the lady bits is
Said
telling me no
no.
go. And I'm going to listen to that. Like, you don't know what I've been through. Like, you've
Yeah.
read it, but like, you don't know.
No.
So I was like, I'm going to listen to my doctor who's like, and like literally messaging me in the app on like caps locks, like, do not do this. Like, these, and like sending me links of like, this is what can happen. Like, please. And yeah. So
Thank God you
I know.
took a risk, or not even a risk, but just sent her a message, right?
Yeah.
And not
That's what I said.
even
I was like, oh,
knowing.
someone was like, she needs to wake up, like have her sound on or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so my husband woke up and I had texted him at like 3:30 in the morning when I was like in a room. They had the ultrasound tech come in and like check everything and see what they could see in there and like, okay, this is what's going to happen. And he woke up, obviously, like reading this message and losing it and beelining it back. And I remember waking up and he was there and he was like, "Why didn't you message me?" And this is COVID again. So like my sister had been with me and now he's allowed in. You can only have one person at a time and they had to alternate and whatnot. So now like my mom knows and my dad know and they can't come see me. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was just, oh my gosh, it was so much. So that was, I remember looking at Matt and being like, he walked in, I woke up, he was there, and I just said, like, "I'm done. I can't do this anymore." And he was like, "Yeah, we're done. Like, that's it. We just need a break." And I said, like, a break, and then we can talk about it later. But I just need to like be with you and have some fun. Like, we just
Yeah.
need to enjoy life again because this is too much.
Need to live again,
And we
right?
agreed.
It's yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot. So a year went by and it was like May long weekend, so like exactly a year almost. And I remember we were at the lake telling our friends, like, you know what? I think we've just decided like we're just not gonna have kids. Like I'm a teacher. I get kids in my life every single day. Both of our families are massive. So I mean, there's kids everywhere and my husband has like 7 nieces and nephews, so like
Oh,
we have lots and lots of babies around and kids around. And I didn't know at the time I was pregnant. So,
of course.
of course. Right, so yeah, I was pregnant and like a week later I was like, oh, this feels familiar. And we did lose that one as
Oh
well.
my god.
And then I was really sick and I was nervous that in between, so in that year off, I had been hospitalized with sepsis with leaky gut, which totally explains a lot about
Mhm.
losing, right? If your body's fighting foreign matters and whatnot, then they're not going to let a fetus survive. So I was really diving deeper into holistic healing,
Mhm.
working with a local indigenous medicine woman that my mom had found, and just kind of doing all of that. And I was so sick. And I just remember saying to my mom, like, Mom, I'm crying, being like, "I'm so tired of being sick and tired, and I don't know what else to do. And I'm hoping this stuff works." And then I'm telling my sister about the symptoms, and she's like, "It sounds a lot like H. pylori." And I was like, "Yeah, it does." And then so I ended up going into my doctor, and they booked all kinds of labs and everything to see if I had H. pylori and everything. And it turns out I was pregnant with our son. So my sister now calls him little HP.
Oh.
Yeah, I was just like violently ill. And during that year off and all of that time, I was like, well, you know what? A friend's husband had said something to me. He was like, "I'm so sorry that you guys are going through this. And I truly just believe that like something in your life has to happen before this can happen. Like everything happens in a certain order." And so I was like, you know what? I really like that there's something else that needs to happen. And during that year, my husband switched jobs. We decided to not move and we had our house on the market. We took it down. We started like really planting down. And I applied to university to go back for my master's, and I got into all of that. And 3 weeks into my first class is when I found out I was pregnant with our son. And I was like, of course,
Oh. Yep.
good one.
Yep.
Yep, we're just gonna like
Welcome to the journey.
we're just gonna like do university and work full time and have a baby.
Oh
Like,
my gosh,
why
girl.
not? We can do it.
Yeah, what
So
else did you have going
then we
on?
had yeah, so we had Coulter in
Oh.
2023. Yeah. And yeah, it took us a little bit too. We took some time off and then became pregnant with Mila. And there was some questioning of at the early in her pregnancy of what else was going. It's not totally confirmed. We're not sure, but there may have been a twinge that she may have absorbed it, or maybe it was just like a foreign matter. We don't know, but um yeah, so now she's here and everything was fine, and hers was a lot less dramatic than Coulter's was. So,
Just
but yeah,
surprising because the girls like to keep us on our toes.
I know. I'm kind of hoping that it's the opposite. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's the second one." And I'm like, "Have you met my first one? He just got stitches in his lip like last month." So,
Oh, boys are nuts, though. Absolutely
crazy.
crazy. I couldn't believe it. The difference between the two.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
curious to see
crazy.
how Mila ends up being, but
Yeah.
like Jayla would always just like sit and color and play, and cases like you turn around and he's like on the roof of the house. I'm like, dude,
I
chill
know.
out.
Matt and I are always like, I don't think can sit. Like even if he now that he starts to play with like tractors and stuff a
Hmm.
little bit, but he like squats. Like at any moment he's ready to pounce and like do something else. Like he doesn't just sit and play. And if other kids want to sit and play, they're like, come sit. And he's like, but let's go run and chase things. And I'm like, oh, all the other
Right?
moms get to sit and visit and watch their children play nice in the sandbox. I'll be doing my laps. So,
Right? Get your steps in, right? Oh my
yeah, I
gosh.
guess so.
So back
Yeah.
after that DNC and then you ended up passing at home, did I'm not understanding how they didn't, you know.
Well, and that we have no answers for any of our losses. The only thing I can really think of is the whole, my body clearly wasn't in a state
Yeah.
that was ready to do it, and the whole leaky gut thing and whatnot. But I have talked about that one with my doctor multiple times, and she said things like maybe because you had an ectopic before, that when we did all of that, like maybe it was elsewhere, maybe there was twins again, like the twin gene, I should bring it, is very strong
Okay.
in my family. Like it's aggressive.
Really?
I actually have a relative who cannot have one child. She has two sets of twins and will just continue to have.
Oh
Um,
my gosh.
because it's so strong, she just got like a double tri like whammy there. There are umpteen sets of twins on multiple sides of my family. So yeah, we're just waiting to see who gets the next one. So
Mhm.
we knew that that's something that is a possibility somewhere
Mhm.
in a bloodline, and so that was potentially a factor. But she actually, in the report, they did put like the DNC for that one did take longer because she's like, we just like didn't get out what I thought we should get out. So she actually had the ultrasound technician come in to the surgery room and do an ultrasound report while I was in surgery. And the report comes back with imaging and everything that like there was nothing in there.
What the heck?
So I know, so just like,
You have two uteruses.
well, no, but at this point after hers, I'm like, something feels weird now. And now I'm dealing with like a misshaped, yeah, it's going to be great.
Being a woman is so good. I'm like, mm.
Women power.
Oh my God. How was like, so your pregnancy with Coulter, was it like pretty straightforward? Your eyes are really big right now. Okay, talk to me.
Oh my gosh. It was okay. My family and my close friends joke that like if you want to know how things can go wrong, just like send me out to. I'm the statistic. Unfortunately, it's just so now whenever my friends are like, "Hey, how did your appointment go?" I'm like, "Well," and I'll tell them, and they're like, "Of course it did. Like, why
Yeah.
wouldn't it?" So Coulter, obviously, it was high risk
Yeah.
because of our significant number of losses, recurrent losses. Um, and oh, I was a whale, like just
Really?
bloating and swelling, right? Like not just the
Mm-hmm.
weight gain. I did gain a substantial amount of weight. He's made out of Reese's Thins, but like
Same though.
it was right? Bags of Reese's Thins, you guys, bags, and it was just he moved a lot and he was great. Like he was fine and everything, but like I struggled.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have incredibly low blood pressure. Like I'm not allowed to donate blood. It's so low. And so my blood pressure would go like really, really high and then really, really low and really, really high. Like it just couldn't be steady. So they knew my body was struggling.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, for the most part, my pregnancy with him was okay. I just was in so much physical pain. He was huge.
Really?
Um, well, and it's not like, he came out just under 9 pounds, and we're like, oh, okay. But like, I'm 5 foot nothing, and there's nothing to me. And my birth canal is incredibly small, apparently. So he didn't fit. He kicked out 3 ribs constantly. I started going through like osteo. A friend of mine is an osteopath. Highly recommend to osteo to absolutely everyone on this planet. It is the greatest, most non-invasive thing ever. And I was just in pain. He was 21.5 inches long and just under 9 pounds. And I remember the nurse being like, I've been doing this for 30 some years, and I don't think I've ever seen a baby come out with rolls like this. Like, he was just so Michelin. It was amazing. But he was stuck. And I remember saying to Matt at like 4 months pregnant, I was like, something tells me I'm going to have a cesarean. Like, my husband is not a small man. There's a reason he played football. His shoulders are just.
So he passed those down.
Oh, yeah. And Coulter made it not even to his brow bone in the birth canal and was stuck. And after 38.5 hours of labor, he was out. Cesarean. Yeah. So the doctor was like, so we're at like 30 whatever hours. And I was like, is that all? She's like, I think we're going to have to think of an alternative. And I was like, just get the baby out. Yeah. She's like, oh, like you're prepared for that? I was like, why was this not an option like 24 hours ago? Just get the baby out.
Yeah, if they're not going to fit, they're not going to fit.
Right? Okay. And so my husband is a liability. He will like pass out at the sight of other people's bodily fluids. So my wonderful sister, who's just like been my savior all of my pregnancies, my entire story for all of this, she was like sleeping on the couch bed thing that they have at Jim Pattison there. And so they were like, okay, he's going in. And he was like, oh, no, that's a terrible plan. Like, I am not going in there. I was like, no, my sister, she's on the couch. So they woke her up and she was like, okay, like half asleep. And she gowned up. And from the time they decided that I was going in until the baby was out, my husband hasn't timed. It was like 32 minutes or something like that. Yeah. And he was out and he was fine. He did have some jaundice and whatnot, but I was written off at 30.5 weeks. I like could not walk. I was just, my hips and my pelvis were just in so much pain. I remember my poor EA at the time. I got stuck in my teacher's chair. I couldn't stand. He had like hit some nerves somewhere and I went to like go get up and I like looked at her and she was like, are you okay? I was like,
I'm going to just sit back down.
She was like, what? I was like, oh, I'm just like so sore. She's like, oh yeah, to put your feet up, like trying not to alarm all of the children. And she like, I had to like text my osteopath and be like, I can't move. She was like, okay, do you have someone who can do this massage on your hips? I'm like, yes. My poor EA, like, got her the greatest Christmas present ever.
She deserved that.
Oh my gosh. It was, yeah. So they were like, okay, you're done. And I'm like,
yeah.
What? And the specialist was like, you're done. I was like, no, like I was really planning to go till like Christmas break because I was due at the end of January. And she was like, yeah, that's not happening. So,
oh man, it's so hard when it's like not in your plan to be off that early, but like I'm 5'2" and same thing. Like I just went straight out. My babies had no place to go. They sat so low that I'm just like, you're literally gonna fall out. But I also couldn't push them out, so which is even harder because your body's like wanting to stretch. No way.
It is just a whole other being of just I don't know. I don't know how I fit him in here. I really don't, because
I'm picturing all the roles. Just the sweetest. I love a good chunky baby.
Oh, he was just even like up until he was like a year and a half old, people were just like, oh my God. And actually Mila's just chunked out too. They're like, she's so fat. I'm like, oh, I love it. I know.
That's the only time I ever want to be called fat is when
I said that to my friend the other day. I was like, hey, why isn't this normalized? You know what? Next time I see you, just be like, girl, you are so fat. I love it. Like, yes.
Like, let's just like change the narrative behind it. Oh my
Look at these
God.
roles. Been working on them for years.
Right? All the footprints running around my house. That's why I have these. When your kids are like, oh, you're
Exactly.
so squishy. I'm like, yeah, it was to bring you into the world. Thank you.
Thanks to you. You're welcome.
Oh my God, for real. How was meeting Coulter after all of the heartbreak that you went through?
Oh.
Did you kind of black out or did you really like?
I was really sick. I was throwing up the whole time during my cesarean. Um, I had the whole, some people describe like the shakes and everything.
Oh, the worst.
And then, yeah. And then at one point, I remember hearing the monitor, and the nurse who was in charge of me was like, doctor, now, doctor, now. So I was pretty faint at that point, but I
Mm-hmm.
remember them putting him on me kind of vaguely.
Yeah.
Um, I think what I remember the most is like well, I shouldn't say the next morning. I had him at like 6 o'clock in the morning. It felt like whatever
It
time of
feels
night.
like the
But
next day.
yeah. So after everyone had slept and collected themselves, I think a lot of people don't talk about that moment where baby has slept and you've slept, and then you wake up and they look like a completely different baby than what came out,
Mhm.
right? Like that initial swelling and the puffiness and everything, and then they kind of look like their true selves. I
Mhm.
actually remember being like, "Whoa, that's not my baby," and then having a mild panic attack that like someone swapped my baby, like this is not him. And then my husband was like, "Well, like a swelling." The nurse came in right away and she was like, "Well, swelling went down," like, and I'm like, "Oh, he's really cute."
Like I made that.
Made it myself. Thanks. Yeah, he's
Still like that. It's
uh,
just so crazy that you just like look at them and you're like, I literally made that.
right. Job well
What?
done.
You ain't
Yeah,
pen with
yeah,
it.
yeah. I just remember thinking, first of all, well, now what? Like, there's no instructions. Like,
Mhm.
they just let us go home. And but
Mhm.
I do remember thinking, like, that is the most beautiful child I've ever seen in my entire life. And like, we have a kid. Like, there's just like all of a sudden there's just like another person in your house.
Mhm.
There's just a
That
whole other
you are
being.
100% responsible for.
Yeah, they're just sending you home with him. Like, that is yours. Good luck. But yeah, I don't. I think it was just a loss for any feeling, let alone words, of just like he was everything, right?
Mhm.
It just it's mine, and I get to take it home, and they're finally here. But like, you think about having the baby,
Mhm.
and now that you have the baby, you're like,
Now
now
what?
what? Like, I never thought this far ahead. I have all of the things, I did all the nesting, and I have all the
Mhm.
stuff, and it looks amazing. Now what? Like,
Mhm.
and then I remember, we had to stay in the hospital for 2 days. He had jaundice, and because he was cesarean, Jim Pattison keeps you for 48 hours, and which I'm super thankful for, because the amount of things that you learn in those 48
Mhm.
hours, and just knowing that, like, if you don't know how to do something, you just hit the button and
Yeah.
someone knows how to do it. So that I'm really thankful for. I know a lot of people like want to get out, and they're like, "Oh, you're cooped up," and I'm just
You're
like,
in a bubble.
okay,
Like you just have to
yeah,
like
like, I just want to stay
mm.
there, and
Mhm.
anyone can help me. I don't know if
Mhm.
it's my like clinical anxiety that, like, if I don't know how to do something, it's just like mass panic, and then I calm myself down, and then I can approach it. But there's someone there.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, we take it. Actually, I remember this. I remember us putting him in the carrier and going to leave the parking lot, and there's like the speed bumps, and we have never driven so
Mhm. It
slow.
hurts so bad. It's just like, God damn, everything feels like it's gonna fall out.
I know, and I just remember being like, if there was ever a time
Mhm.
that I'm actually not trying to be dramatic about your driving, that
It's
this is it. It just like really hurts. Like, my
it's
husband, he calls me his little helper. I don't know if you guys, if you've seen the TikTok, but they're like, "Oh, thank God for my little helper in the passenger seat. I have no idea how I would have parked in the
Oh
passenger
yes.
seat." So he calls me his little helper, but he's like, "I know you're not being dramatic." I don't know that we've ever like verbally consoled one another, reassured one another more, but I was just like, "You're doing great. it's like an hour and a half drive home from the
Oh,
hospital.
yeah, I guess. Hey, oh my gosh.
Yeah, but yeah, and then but also like trying to be super safe and not break the baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're driving so slow and going around potholes. And then poor Mila, like we have her throw her in the car seat and cruising home, like
It's like the
hitting
more
every
bumps, the
pothole.
better.
And then you're like, oh, second child. Man, I get it.
Yeah, you're like, you're resilient.
You're fine. Your brother's alive.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
Was it hard, like bringing him home for the first time and like actually having a baby to put in all of the things?
Oh, I think what was the hardest was attempting to breastfeed.
Mm-hmm.
He had a tongue tie, which we had clipped.
Mm-hmm.
So his latch was really chaotic and he couldn't latch. I also was just very large and his mouth was very small. So it was a struggle. But I remember the first night we were at home and I got up and Matt had taken like 2 weeks off work. Thank God.
Mm-hmm.
And to stay home with me. And so he's like, okay, like let's go do this. And so we had formula as a backup. We picked it up on the way home, and the hospital gave us a ton of it in bottles, like the little teeny tiny ones and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so we agreed that like, okay, fed is best, but like I want to try this.
Yeah.
And after like 15 minutes of trying, he was screaming because he was so hungry, and I'm bawling, and my anxiety is through the roof
Mm-hmm.
now. And my husband just sat down on a stool in front of me and he was like, why are we doing this? I was like, what do you mean? My baby's hungry. And he's like, no, like we talked about this. We agreed that fed is best. We have
Mm-hmm.
formula for a reason. It is the middle of the night and everyone is tired. How about we just give him some formula, then he is happy and he is fed. And then tomorrow, when it's like middle of the day and we're
Yeah.
more rested, you can try again. And you know what? If you don't want to, you don't have to.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just remember feeling like, okay, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Okay. And he was
That
like,
whole
great.
weight is
You go lay
just,
down.
yeah.
I'm going to feed him. And I was like, oh, yeah. Okay. You can do that. Yeah. Okay.
That sounds good.
Great. Right? And I just remember being so thankful. And like now, if I could record that or like put it into a TikTok or something, I think I'd follow the
Mhm.
trend of like, yeah, because I didn't marry a loser, right? Like he
Yeah,
was just
literally. That is
so
amazing.
involved, right? I
Which
was
like
just
does
like,
not happen all the time.
no, he
Mm-mm.
is, oh, I think he has fed Coulter more than I ever did through all of it, them or my parents.
Yeah.
Um, it just, again, we talked about like breastfeeding versus pumping and whatnot and all of that and what's freeing and what isn't, and they both have their
Hmm.
pros and cons, right? But
Hmm.
yeah, that was, I think, bringing him home and attempting all of that, and it was within those first 24 hours of being at home with him that I was like, I am not breastfeeding. Like this is just far too stressful. My milk was going down because I was stressed, and
Yeah.
like he is just screaming, and this is like not good for anyone. So I just once my milk came in, because it took like 3 or 4 days, so that was
Hmm.
also part of the struggle. But once I got the milk to come in, I just pumped and bottle fed him,
Hmm.
and I mean I was a good cow. I
Make
stopped
your husband proud,
pumping,
right? That's his
right?
specialty.
Yeah. I had exactly. I stopped and weaned down when he was 10 months, and I
Mhm.
had enough to give him a bottle before bed until he was like well over a year. So I
That's
just, the whole freezer
amazing.
door was just like
Yeah.
filled with milk. So,
Good for you for committing to the pumping for that long. Like pumping is a whole nother ball game. I
oh,
just can't
that's
get
that's a
behind
job.
it literally.
Yeah, I didn't realize it until Mila. I just
Yeah.
think I was just like had it all figured out and was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is the way to go.
And
Like
that's all you
this is
knew, right?
freeing.
Like,
Yeah,
exactly. And now that you can just pop them on the booby, well, I mean, perfect.
right. And
I
now
want to
that Mila, yeah,
go
sorry, go
ahead.
ahead.
No, I want to pick your brain a little bit about this leaky gut thing
Yeah.
because it is obviously you do your nutritionist stuff and you've lived it and it's more talked about now, but I don't know if you necessarily understand what it is. And then you went septic from it. So I just want to shed a little.
Twice.
Oh my God. I just want to shed some light on what that is. What can we look for? How can that affect some fertility journeys, XYZ?
Yeah, so I think it's a big part of the puzzle that people miss when not even just in a fertility journey, but especially in that time. If your
Hmm.
body has any type of foreign matter, so for example, leaky gut, where your gut lining has been worn down, whether it's through usually chronic stress, poor eating habits, or any other things, right? Like it can be just an imbalance of chemicals or minerals in the body and whatnot. And literally your toxins and stuff from your
Hmm.
gut start to leak into your system. So your body's number one priority at this point is to make sure that infection isn't happening, right? That this stuff that's leaking where it shouldn't be is being dealt with.
Hmm.
And so your body then goes into hyper mode and is, that's its number one job. Keep the heart going, keep the brain going, pump the blood, and try to do the best it can by keeping infection down. Those are the top
Yeah.
priorities to keeping you alive. And it attacks any foreign matter. Well, if you become pregnant in that time, your body's like, well, we don't have time for that. That's a foreign matter. And it just
Yeah.
X-rays it with everything else.
Yeah.
And I mean, it doesn't have to just be leaky gut too, right? Like this
Hmm.
can be any type of if you have a major infection or parasites or anything to do, like maybe gallbladder or anything like that. If your body is constantly having to stay on top of these
Hmm.
foreign bacterias and whatnot, then it's potentially could recognize pregnancy as that as well. Not that it always does, but a lot of the time this can cause some issues in there. So I actually, uh, when I was hospitalized, I called 811. It was during COVID. You call 811. And they
Hmm.
just kept telling me, like, oh, you probably have the flu or it's probably COVID. And I was in bed for 3 days with this. And I would have like spasms in my side. And finally, my husband was just like, this is not okay. Like,
Yeah.
this is not a flu. Like, you can't walk anywhere. Like, your fever is now, it was like 103 or something like that. And yeah, ridiculously high. And I was like, oh, it's fine. Just take an antibiotic. And he finally just like picked me up and put me in the vehicle and was like, we're going into the hospital. And so
Hmm.
I went in and it was like an 80 some percent septic. And the first time I remember my dad was with me the first time it was happened. And they had said, like, I don't know how she's still conscious while her white blood cell count is this high. And like,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
like it is. And when you start to learn about these things and you look back, you start to think about like, how did you not see the signs, right?
Hmm.
Um, I often tell clients that like the first sign of your disease that you're diagnosed with was probably like um, irregular bowel movements or like bloating and feeling really gross. Like
Hmm.
that's where it starts. You don't just all of a sudden have leaky gut. There will be years usually of symptoms. And I just remember now looking back through like high school and university being like, oh, I had strep throat 36 times in 5 years in university. Like, take my tonsils out. Like,
Hmm.
let's do it. But they just keep feeding you
Yeah,
antibiotics
of
and that
course.
breaks down everything else. So that breaks down your gut lining. And I mean, I had appendicitis in high school and I just, between Accutane and amoxicillin, is just, might as well just put that like over the counter, right? Because they just
Hmm.
dish it out to you. And yeah, looking back through all of that, and then IBS is a big one. Like if
Yeah.
you have been told that you have IBS, well, that could mean like a million different things.
Yeah.
So let's find out why your bowels are irritated, and let's find a root cause for that. And so that's
Mhm.
kind of the direction I try to steer when clients come in. And um, it's not that there's anything wrong with people saying like, "Oh, I just want to like lose some weight and feel better." That's great. I'm
Mhm.
sure if that's what's going to make you feel better, awesome. But let's find out why it's happening
Mhm.
and treat it long term, not
Yeah.
just like, "Oh, eat this way for the rest of your life, even though it's hard,"
Mhm.
and it'll just fix all your problems.
If only we could just snap our fingers and
Right? Yeah,
all of our problems would be solved.
so simple. It's so easy. Yeah, I just don't want people to I didn't know where to go. Like you said, it just wasn't really talked about back then.
Hmm.
And I just remember so many people would bug me about the way I would eat or, oh, you do this or you only eat that or you're not eating this now. And I'm like, hey,
Who
like
cares? Why are people so freaking obsessed with what other people are eating?
I'm not asking you to eat it.
They're like, why do you eat your food? Why do you eat this? Why do you? I'm like, it doesn't affect you what I do.
Does it pay your bills? Does it affect you?
Mind your
You know,
business.
right? It's I went paleo, like strict paleo for 3 years to
Okay.
try to just be like, okay, like let's just literally cut the crap.
Yeah.
Um, so
Is
I went
that
in
sustainable?
now.
Okay.
No, absolutely not for the majority of people. Oh,
Yeah.
she's
You're,
awake.
you're okay.
Not for the majority. Here, my love.
Mm,
But it wasn't that I was 100% paleo for 3 whole
yeah.
years. I did the Whole30 diet. It's where
Okay.
you
Yeah.
eliminate processed, the 5 processed foods, or sorry, you eliminate systemic inflammatory foods. So it's not that any of these foods are bad for you, it's that they are known to cause inflammation in parts of the body. For example, we know beans are great for us, but we also know that they cause flatulence and that our bowels and,
Mm-hmm.
we have gas from them. So that is a form of inflammation. We can still eat them, but we eliminate those to just eliminate symptoms and factors. So I did that for 30 days, and there is no way to describe. There are no words for how good feels. I felt great. It was hard the first 30 days,
Yeah.
and then I just felt fantastic. And I just thought, I'm just going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that for 3 years, and I felt substantially better, but there was still obviously leaky gut, but there were
Yeah.
still other things. So I had kind of done the work to create great habits and like learn more about what does and doesn't affect my body in specific ways, but I hadn't necessarily healed a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the things. I still had psoriasis, which autoimmune disease. There's another signal I probably should have picked up on that like, hey, half of my body is inflamed and has a rash. Oh, that's weird. That starts in the gut.
Yeah.
Like, but they just tell you like, oh, it's a skin condition. No, it's a gut condition.
That's just it,
So
right? And I think a lot of the times, like I'm a medical esthetician and a nurse, and I do all of the things with like that. And so often I'm talking about the skin on the face, neck, and neck. It's like anti-aging, healing that skin barrier, all of these other things. But it's like your entire external skin is still an organ, and that
the
organ
largest
is
organ.
now like my friend just sent me a picture of her baby last night. Measles is obviously a big thing going around, and she had a fever. It looked like measles, and she was scratching. So I said, just take her into the ER. And you can't be too safe when this shit's going
Yeah.
around. And wasn't measles, thank God. But
Yeah.
it was like she had had a really bad cold a couple weeks ago, and her body's releasing the toxins through her skin. I'm
Yes,
like,
it's a
yeah,
detox.
that
Literally.
makes sense. So it's like when, people are emailing me on consultations of like the perioral dermatitis and all of these things. It's like, okay, well, let's take it back a little bit more. And, these things can lay dormant in your body for so long. And depending on what you're doing,
Years.
they can flare up. They can do all of these things. And, a common thing is I've never had a skin issue ever. I'm like, okay. But then we did this and it brought it up. So like what is going on? Right.
Yeah.
Um so when you got into all of the nutritional stuff and whatnot, I won't hold you very much longer, but what is your outlook on like birth control now?
Oh,
Has it changed over the years? Because I'm a big I
yeah.
don't like it.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah. Just like, can you explain kind of like how you've learned that it like affects the body? Because what I walk right now is a lot of like my clients are going off birth control and their skin is just so angry. They feel so helpless. And they're in their
So,
30s, late 20s,
yeah.
30s, like,
Yep. Yeah, I was the same. I've
mhm.
been there, done it. Cystic acne, birth control, Accutane. You go
Yeah,
off of
that
it. Oh no,
scares
it
me.
comes back. right?
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? 3 years of the highest dosage of Accutane and it still came back. Oh, I
3
wonder why.
years?
It's in, I know, right? And
You're
now they're
hurting
like,
me.
I know the things we should have known, right?
Mhm.
So, um, oh, acne also starts in your gut,
Mhm.
right? Skin is a reflection of what's going on inside. So, um, the best way to really describe, like, gonna kind of piggyback off what you said,
Mhm.
it's the largest organ in our body. It is a detox pathway. So, if there are toxins or imbalances that are going on within the body, your body is going to do what it can to release it, to detox, right?
Mhm.
And if your lymph nodes are, you know, blocked and things aren't detoxing properly that way, if your bowels aren't detoxing
Mhm.
properly that way, if, you're having issues with sweating or excessive sweating and whatnot, all of
Mhm.
the pathways that your body can detox, if it can't get it out properly, especially with digestion problems, you're going to have skin problems. Your body is just going to be like, oh, well, it can't get out, but we need to get rid of it. So get it out. And it's
Yeah.
going to push it through your skin. And when it comes to birth control, it just kind of like stops a lot of the functions in your body. It affects, obviously, your estrogen and progesterone levels and
Mhm.
whatnot. And that's heavily affected by, the mineral copper. And we see a lot. I am seeing a ton in a lot of my clients who come in, copper imbalances in the body. And it's just some with copper toxicity. There's just so much going
Mhm.
on, and their body is attempting to purge and get rid of. And a lot of the times, I would say like 9 times out of 10, these women are also experiencing skin problems, whether it be acne, rashes, hives in some
Mhm.
cases, some of us psoriasis,
Yep.
just all kinds of ways. And your body is going to purge anything it can. And by going on birth control and modifying all of your hormones and all of the chemical and mineral balances in your body with that pill and then going off of it, your body's like, oh, well, now we need to get rid of
Mhm.
everything, go back to functioning without it. And it's your body knows what to do.
Mhm.
And if you help balance, whether it's through diet, lifestyle, supplementation, whatnot, drinking water,
What?
water, and I mean, not dead water, right? I don't know. Can we just talk about the fact that Zac Efron did this whole like touring around the world with water, and it's now people starting to talk about it? Also, Zac Efron. Okay, but and now people are like, oh, what? You need good water? There should be minerals in water, and I'm like, yeah, it's called
We've
we
come
want
so
good water.
far. I feel like we could do a whole nother episode on this. Are you kidding me?
This is
I love this stuff.
it's
Mm-mm-mm.
just it is it's this is my Super Bowl. Just saying.
Yeah, the way you light up when you talk about it, I love it.
But yeah, it's getting people to add minerals in and help your body
Hmm.
balance without the birth control. Also, we have so many things with biohacking now, like the Aura Ring and the
Okay, that's what it is.
Unicorn.
I'm like, is that
Uh,
your wedding ring?
no, that's another one.
Okay, I was gonna say you don't seem like a black ring kind of chick for your wedding ring. That I don't know.
Yeah, it's all of these things, tracking your cycle,
Yeah.
right? Like unless you hyperovulate, there are only what like 6 days
Hmm.
kind of thing that it's possible. Like track those things.
Yeah.
It's probably much more beneficial to be in tune and knowing what's going on than to just go on birth control. Also, you know what? Here is my pet peeve with the whole birth control thing.
Hit me.
Um, Irregular periods and doctors being, oh, we'll just put you on birth control.
Yeah, like why though?
You know what?
Is it a male doctor?
That poor woman is already struggling
Yeah.
with life of being a woman and menstruation
Yeah.
and having to do that. And you're
For
that's the
anyone
that's the
listening, if your
feeling.
doctor's trying to do it, just message Roxy.
I
Like your
just
OBGYN did for you, you can do for these other women. You are not going on birth control.
have you seen I think I shared it on my Instagram as like a stitch kind of thing. Um there's a TikTok about like the woman who goes to her doctor with woman problems. And she was like, so like I have this rash. And they're like, oh, we're gonna look at that with our eyes. We'll keep an eye on it. And then she's like, yeah, and then I've been gaining some weight. Oh, and we're gonna keep our eyes on that. And then she goes on, and then she's like, wait, did I have birth control? And she's like, no, I don't want that. Why? And like it's just, and then at the very end, she like comes in clutch with the whole, you know what, whatever, but text me if you want SSRIs. And like they sign out with that. And I'm like, this is like every doctor's appointment I've ever had. The amount of
Yeah.
people who messaged me when I stitched that being like, yeah, like they might as well have just filmed my doctor's appointments. Like
Oh
so
my
many
gosh.
women messaging me being like, this is insane. This is exactly what it feels like. And then one woman messaged me, one of my followers said, I actually don't know how else a doctor's appointment is supposed to go.
That's
And I was
so
like,
sad.
where are you? And she's in the States somewhere. And she was
Yeah.
just like,
Get a new
I
doctor.
don't know. Right. I was like, I don't what? Because not all doctors are like this, right? Like this is
Hmm.
a generalization. It's just that there's a lack of it's a spoof on the lack of research in women's health and on the study on women's bodies, right? And so like this like my doctor wasn't like that. Like I obviously like mine was like, don't do that, stand up
Yeah.
for yourself. Like she's great. But yeah, I just there are other things.
Hmm.
If we can go back to treating our body holistically, and the thing that drives me insane is all these people being like, oh, why have you started doing that? I'm like, actually, this is natural. Like, why do people get ripped
Mm.
on for doing natural things for our body versus getting a prescription?
Hmm.
Right.
Yep.
And like, don't even get me started on coverage.
Mm.
Like, what isn't under coverage? But like,
It's so.
I, there's just the systemic acceptability of medical treatment. And if you're not sick, then big pharma's not making money. So
Yeah, exactly.
if you can, it's not easy. I'm not saying that like, oh well, just go do this because this is the simple. It's not. It's the harder route,
Hmm.
right? It's probably going to take longer. Um, a girl I follow on Instagram put out a phrase that I absolutely love using. If it took you, 20 years to put your body into this state, it will likely take you approximately 20 months to be healed.
Hmm.
And not that that's the case for everyone. It could be shorter, it could be longer, depending on your circumstance. But I think a lot of the time people come in and they're like, oh, okay, like, my program is a 12-week program. And they're like, great. So after 12 weeks, I'm like, after 12 weeks, we should see some improvement.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do I wish that I could just heal y'all in 12 weeks? Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's just not the reality. It took my body 7 years. And that's also because, I mean, it wasn't widely talked about and I didn't know
Hmm.
where to start. I felt I was doing it on my own with the exception of, this medicine woman and one holistic practitioner, and started seeing a naturopath. Everyone's like, is he a naturopath? I'm like, yeah. Oh, you get the blood work done, live blood analysis. That's weird. I'm like,
I
that's better than
guess.
having all these side effects. Like,
Right.
someone's got to be the kook.
Yeah. I'll happily be the one when I'm feeling my
Right?
best.
Right.
If any of our listeners want to follow you, connect with you, book an appointment with you, how do they do that?
Roxy's Nutrition on Instagram is probably the easiest way. I have a link in my bio to my website if you need more information on there. Anything from, I mean, I got recipes on there. I'm always posting recipes and stuff on there.
Love that.
Random, that's not normal episodes I put on there. People can message me with symptoms they're experiencing, and I can try to break that down for you. Of no, that's not normal.
Cool.
I think one of the ones that just went out was hair loss and bloating. No, that's not normal.
Bloating check.
Right? Yes.
I wake up
So that,
looking fine, and then I look at water. It's like,
I know, right?
and you're not looking fine.
And we're not wearing that later.
No.
Instagram's probably the easiest way. And then depending on what you're looking for, there's links and whatnot for all of that. But nutrition information, HTMA analysis, finding the root cause
Yeah.
and long-term healing, holistic healing. That's what we're going for.
Well, I'm so grateful that this worked out like so perfect that we were
I
able to book
know.
this and
I
that
loved
I
it.
got to know all the parts of you, the hard, the good, the great. And I
Thank
can't wait
you.
to stay connected.
Yes, 100%.